Now, uh, there's a lot going on, as I just mentioned, but I wanted to let you know some of these key topics that are in progress concurrently. So they are moving forward in parallel at different paces. So the first one is DAO formation opinion. As a lot of you know and have expressed, getting to a formal DAO is an important step. We are not there yet. Right now, we are sort of pretending to be a DAO, but we are more of a collective. We are a community, a collective of people, and we need to get to a formal DAO. So the first thing that's going to come out of there that we need is a legal opinion on how the DAO formation should work, how it should operate, what should be the balance of responsibilities and control points be between the DAO and the DAO entity that will be incorporated. So this is not a trivial matter. It's complex because the DAO entity will have personnel and the DAO has personnel. Now the DAO by itself has no official sort of not recognized by the law in terms of liability, etc. But the entity is, and so whoever's on there will have legal liability. And so there's a balancing act there, and it's a very tricky balancing act, but we have to do it. So once that opinion is in place, I'd like to have a community vote on it. So we can vote yes or no on it. And if that vote proceeds, then we go into incorporation. Now, those of you who are very much into crypto, etc., might have seen how intense the past few days have been with updates from the SEC, with opinion letters, with a lot of information very targeted around regulations around crypto, etc. So what this has done is kind of influenced our strategy a little bit about incorporation of the DAO. We had considered the possibility of doing a dual structure where there is an incorporated entity in a non sort of regulated by the United States SEC space, which would be in the UAE or other places. UAE is pretty much it, and then also in the US, because as we plan to take on contracts with major industry organizations, whether it's a museum or a record label or whatever, it's a lot easier if you're incorporated under US law. So for the moment, we have backburnered that. Just for the moment, we need to understand better what the SEC regulations mean and the impact of them. But I envision that in the future, we will have multi-jurisdiction incorporation. So we'll get into that when the time comes. The time is not now. Today is different things. We need to have our booster sales plan finalized. So I've been working with Jamelia, our in-house general counsel, on that. So we've had some good meetings on that. And today what I'd like to do is present to you a preview of that. It's not yet fully approved, but it's enough where you can get a good idea of what's coming. Some of the other topics that we are working on that are at different stages, our validator incentive program, which I presented a few days ago, a backer incentive program, and then DEX tokens and cap table. I know this is a topic that is of interest to a lot of people. This is essentially what the UXI tokens are about. So it's important for you to understand that we can't do all things at once. We have to prioritize things in the order they are going to be rolled out. So if you don't see any attention being paid to a particular topic, it's not because it's not important. It's because there's other things that are critically important to be done by a certain date in order to keep things moving along. So we are definitely working on all these things. It's going to take a little bit of time to get all of it done. We are still a very tiny team. We are not like, lots and lots of people here. So we are working pretty much crazy hours. As I was talking to the folks earlier, I'm pulling regular 20-hour days and still cannot get enough work done in time. So it's going to all happen. The next item here is the DAO governance draft. So we are working on some basic fundamental policy. So think about it as sort of a dual pathway. We've got the incorporation pathway going on, which legalizes the DAO, but we also need governance. We need rules around, who can propose something, when can they propose something, how will members get elected if someone's already in a lead position, How can they be changed? Who gets to fill the other roles in the DAO? There's a lot of roles there. What will the salaries be? What are the salary caps? What are the treasury rules? What levels need different multi-sig access, etc.? None of that is there right now. And I see hundreds and literally hundreds of questions about in Discord. And people fail to understand that this is a multi-step process. We are not yet a DAO. It's important to understand. We are basically a collective and a community moving towards a DAO. And all those governance rules take time to set up in place and then to approve and then to implement. So that DAO governance comes along with the DAO formation, and we'll put that into place. So, but don't be under the illusion that we are a DAO already. We are acting like a DAO, but we are not there yet. We don't have any governance rules, etc. What we are doing is fast tracking things as quickly as possible, so that we're not just sitting around and waiting, or like imagine if we just spent our time right now on DAO governance. Imagine what would happen to this protocol. It would be gone, right? Like, we need to actually launch, we need to have things happening, etc. So it's important to think strategically about these things, and we will get there, but it takes time. The councils are working on their 90-day plans, which are sort of dovetailing into some of the governance and things like that. And we are also working on budget and cash flow projections. Now, we all know the financial situation is dire. We have very short runway, and we have to do the booster sale in order to do two things. One, get operating capital, and two, get liquidity capital. And so the way I'm thinking about it right now is we have a finite amount of capital, which is probably going to last us no more than through October, maybe a little bit longer than that. And so everything we are doing here is kind of looking forward beyond that, so beyond the booster sale. And so we have to have budgets, we have to have cash flow projections, etc., and we have to have contingency plans, right? So we don't know how well the booster sales will go. I assume it will go well, but I'm not counting on it. So we have to have budgets. We have to have a different plans, 1, 2, 3, for different scenarios. So from a lot of questions in the Discord, I see people just assume that because they have not seen any information about it, that nothing's being done, etc. But when you run a business, when you run an organization, you got to think through all these things. It's like breathing. You have to do it, otherwise your business is dead. So just know that all of this is being worked on, and there is a coherent and a very strategic approach to doing all this. You should feel confident about that, because it's not willy-nilly like, yeah, let's just throw out some comments in Discord and do things. There's a very strategic and a very deliberate approach to doing this. So let's see what results we have so far and how we are moving forward on these things.